Let's bring in Brian Claypool now, criminal defense attorney. Brian, I want to get your thoughts first on the younger brother who was denied parole. And there's a lot of different things that this parole board looks into, but it's not just the crime that happened, but it's also what they've been up to since, right? And so what did this parole board find about the younger brother?
Yeah, hey, Aisha, great to see you. Yeah, you're spot on. The parole commissioner actually said that he's not focusing so much on the actual crime, the murder of Erik's parents, that he was focusing on behavior in jail. And both brothers had at least 8 infractions since they've been in jail. I think Erik had not 8, Lyle had 9. That was a big deal. And then the other issue he's looking at is, are you taking accountability? Do you have remorse for what you did? And based on what Jonathan just talked about, it didn't appear that Erik did. And I don't really see a different fate for Lyle. Why? Because they're a package deal, Aisha. They both went out and bought the shotgun. They both killed their parents. They both went on shopping sprees. They've both been on bad behavior in prison. And so I don't really see a different outcome here. And just so your viewers know, these two had a risk assessment of moderate. In California, Aisha, only 1 in 5 people get granted parole when they're a moderate risk. So this really shouldn't be a surprise if you're focusing on the facts and the law rather than emotion.
Well, you answered my next question, which was, are they a pair? Because there are 2 different people. They had the opportunity, I guess, to behave differently behind bars, but it sounds like they didn't. They were up to no good while they were behind bars. And ultimately, even if the parole board today denies Lyle parole, ultimately it's up to Gavin Newsom. And this is what Gavin Newsom said about the Menendez brothers back in March. Listen to this.
A lot of people have asked me, have you watched any of these Netflix series? Have you seen any of the dramatization? And the answer is no, I haven't. I've not seen one. I've seen a few clips here and there on social media, and I don't intend to watch these series because I don't want to be influenced by them. I just want to be influenced by the facts.
So what would Gavin Newsom, why would he differ from what the parole board says? I mean, how likely or unlikely is it that he would go a different direction?
Yeah, great question. Before I answer that, I wanted to touch on your prior point. I think Lyle has even a worse chance of getting parole. Why? Because the parole board commissioner, Aisha, made a point of saying, look, Erik, you were 18 and Lyle is 21. You both had a chance to make a conscious decision to walk away, to get out of the house, because you have a great support network. Why didn't you do that? That's not going to bode well for Lyle today, because he was 21 at the time of the murder and could have walked away. As to Gavin Newsom, this is a ticking time bomb, Aisha. I live here in L.A. He was very vocal about supporting the Menendez brothers when the resentencing hearings were going on. He didn't say he was going to grant clemency, but he said, I have the chance to do that. But look, if he's going to run for president in 2028, it might behoove him to not grant clemency, because if you do the math, both these Menendez brothers, if they're both denied parole, would be up again, in August of 2028.
I don't know why that doesn't surprise me that he would have said that. Brian Claypool, thanks for joining us on this breaking news, and we'll continue to watch together. Thanks, Brian.
You bet. Thanks, Aisha.